Today, we're talking about a growing issue that affects many people, this invisible web that connects our digital lives, often in ways we don't even see. If you've ever felt like your devices know just a little too much about you, this explainer is for you. Our goal here is simple, to help you understand how it all works so you can stay aware, stay calm, and stay safe.
So, have you ever had this happen? You're looking at something on your computer, maybe a pair of shoes, and then just a few minutes later, an ad for those exact same shoes pops up on your phone. It's a really common experience, and yeah, it can feel a little strange, but there's a clear technological reason for it, and we're about to pull back the curtain and see how it's all connected. The official name for this is cross-device tracking. And really, it's just what it sounds like. It's the technology that lets companies see that your phone, your laptop, and maybe even your smart TV all belong to the same person or at least the same household. It's powered by something called graph algorithms, which is just a fancy way for computers to map out relationships and find connections between different bits of information. Now, probably the easiest way to picture all this is to imagine a giant invisible web. In the tech world, they actually call this a digital graph, and its whole job is to connect all of your different devices together right behind the scenes. So how is this web actually built? Well, it happens in a few key steps. First, each of your devices, your phone, your laptop, acts as a single point in this web. They call them nodes. Then, connections, or edges, are drawn between these devices using shared data signals. And as more and more data comes in and confirms these links, that web gets stronger and stronger, until eventually all your devices are tied to one single profile that represents you or your household. Okay, so what kind of data actually creates these links? It's usually common everyday stuff. For example, if your phone and your laptop are on the same Wi-Fi network, that's a really strong link. If you use the same Google or Facebook account across your devices, that's another big one. Even just being in the same physical location consistently or searching for similar things can be enough to connect the dots. All right, now let's get into why linking devices like this is so powerful, because this technology moves way beyond just seeing what you do on one device. It starts to build a much, much larger and more detailed picture of your life. And what this really does is create a complete picture of your digital life. You see, instead of just getting these isolated snapshots of activity, what you do on your phone over here, what you do on your laptop over there, companies can start to see a person's or even a whole household's entire digital ecosystem and how all those pieces fit together throughout the day. This new method, this graph, is a huge leap from older tracking techniques like, say, browser cookies. You can reset cookies on a single device, right? But a cross-device graph is what's called persistent. It gives a unified view of an entire household. And get this, because it's a web of connections, it can even self-heal. That means if you try to block tracking on one device, the other connected devices can actually help re-identify it, which makes this kind of tracking much, much harder to stop. We see this stuff in action all the time. The most obvious one is an ad network showing you the exact same advertisement on all your different screens. Streaming services also use this to understand not just what you watch, but what your whole family is watching. And big retailers? They can track your activity across their app, their website, and even their smart speakers. And this really gets to the heart of it. It's no longer just about cookies on your web browser. It's about this invisible graph that is silently connecting every single screen you own. So, knowing all this, what can you do? The goal here isn't to be fearful, it's just to be informed. So let's just walk through some simple, practical steps you can take to reclaim a little bit of control over your digital privacy. Okay, first, try to use separate accounts for different services. Instead of using a single sign-on for everything, create unique logins. A VPN, which stands for Virtual Private Network, can also really help by masking your IP address, which, remember, is one of the main ways devices are linked. You can also consider limiting the number of connected smart devices in your home. Each one just adds another point to that graph. And most importantly, simply stay aware. Just understanding that this is happening is the most powerful first step you can take. This all leads to a really simple principle you can apply to any new app or service you use. Always stop, think, and verify. Before you connect something new, just take a moment to understand what information you're actually sharing. The goal is not to fear technology. It's just to stay informed and cautious. Knowing how these systems work is, in itself, a form of protection. When you stay aware, you can make better choices for yourself. So the question I'll leave you with is this: how will you manage the invisible web that connects you? Thanks for joining us for this explainer. Stay safe, stay aware, And please consider sharing this information with your family.